Peter Rose, Longwood Currency Trading. If you're 21 to 34 years of age, or if you're 55 to 75 years of age, doesn't really make any difference. Some Forex trading advice for you that you probably ought to pay attention to. But before we get started on that, this is what I was going to do today. I'm not doing that today. What we're going to do is we're going to go outside because it's a beautiful, well, let's look out the window. The sun's out. Let's go check out the sun. So that stuff on the whiteboard is a computer Forex simulation program that I'm working on writing. It's actually the staging in program analysis that I had spoken about a couple of videos ago that I was developing. I've already done one on staging out. That's the one on staging in. I actually wanted to add some work to it, and I'm basically looking at 3 or 4 hours of a complete rewrite of one of the major methods. And I just really don't feel like it today because we have this. Although the Bodog would like to come out and listen to this dissertation, he's going to stay inside. Today in the United States that I'm recording this is Memorial Day, and it's in memory of our fallen, loved military members. But it also represents a new beginning for all of us at the start of our summer season to relax. So on the one hand, we have memories of fallen members of our population, and then we have a celebration for that population. It's a good thing. The book, as you can see, is starting to overgrow. I got to keep you all up to date on all this stuff that's going on, because this is the life of a Forex trader. This is what you're looking for, right? You're going to invest. Why? You're going to take the time to learn Forex. Why? So that you can put up a lot of money in the bank? No, it's so you can have a brook running through your backyard, or you can have a house that you, like I keep pointing out to, that I paid cash for before I even had to sell my other house. I don't brag about that stuff. That's just a fact. That when you learn the rules of the game and you diligently work hard, then you can reap those rewards. I'm retired, and I'm fortunate that I can be retired and I've got the money to be able to sustain this. Now, that could change. Everything could go to shit. But right now, I have this. And I worked hard for it. And so I'm going to enjoy it. Now, there's no reason for me to sit behind the desk on a beautiful day like this and work on a computer program when I can talk with you guys. I specifically say this is the 2134. I've done several videos that are targeted, well, most of my audience is in that 21 to 34-year-old age group. I know that by looking at my Google Analytics, right, for videos, if you're watching this on YouTube. And it's a good demographic to have. It's unfortunate that I don't have more older guys like me, I'm in my 70s, to be able to say, okay, I should have done stuff. I should have, you know, if the bear wouldn't have stopped in the woods to take a shit, the hunter would have never seen him to shoot him. By the time you get to be 70 years old, by the time you get to be 50 years old, it's starting to get a little late to be thinking about being financially independent, free. There's a wonderful movement called the FIRE movement, right? Financial independence, retire early. And there's a lot of validity in that. But it all breaks down to what I just mentioned. Work your ass off when you're young, save your money like crazy, and then retire on a small amount of that money and invest the rest and let your money work for you. I had to work for my money as a software engineer for 33 years. I had to work for my money in real estate. That's not passive income. It's passive income if you're a couple of orders of magnitude larger of an investor than I was. I didn't have a management company. I was the guy that was answering the phone when some drunk dumbass locked himself out of the apartment and I had to go down. Did I get paid for that? You bet your ass I did. You get $100 or you can sleep out in the parking lot. It doesn't make any difference to me. Just because I didn't want to have to deal with that stuff. And so I made that clear to tenants that you got a pretty nice place to live at a pretty decent rental amount that's probably a little bit below what you would normally have to pay. But it's not going to be this big fancy place, and I'm not going to come and let you into your apartment just because you get drunk. I'm not going to do it. Those aren't passive incomes. If you've got 12 buildings, you can hire a management company, and they can manage everything, take the money and do everything and send you the check at the end of the month. But you know what? Management companies don't have any stake in your property. So they're not going to be proactive in doing some of the things that you feel you would need to do in order to be fair to your tenants so that they're willing to pay you more money. They're not financially invested in you or your tenants. There's no passive investment unless you can just leave your money in the bank and have it pay you interest. Hey, buy a T-bill today. You get a 10-year rate of, I think it's 1.5. So it might be up to 2. I don't know. Because the Fed is currently raising interest rates. This is end of May of 2022. We've had a point rise in the interest rates, and we're looking at another point rise to get rid of the inflationary issues that are plaguing us right now as a country and as every country, as we all try to come out of this pandemic and brace ourselves for what are we going to do with the next one. What are we going to do? There's so many of us, and I'm not in the working population anymore, but we're impacted by that pandemic. Now, for me and my wife, we simply haven't taken the long trip vacations that we had planned on. But if you're employed and your work said, well, we can't have everybody here at work, but you could work from home. What are you going to do? The best you can afford is maybe an 800 or a 900 square foot apartment, and there's your wife and 2 kids, and you're going to work from home? Or you're a restaurant or tourism employee, and they slam the door on you and say, we can't, we're going to have to lay you off. Now what are you going to do? The only certainty is when you work for yourself. But even when you work for yourself, things don't work out. I had a business 30 years ago when I was involved in the real estate market, and I was working, and I was working for a mortgage company, a private lender, and I was starting to lend my own money, and the markets were starting to soften, and a couple of the guys, investors, had left him, and so I was excess baggage, and I got let go. So I started my own small mortgage company, and it was at the wrong time. I understood that. I did a couple of deals. I made a little bit of money, but it just wasn't enough to support me, and so you know, I moved on and started my career in software engineering, and that business failed. Okay, so we all have our failures. Even when you're self-employed, things can not work out for you. And when you're self-employed, even as a Forex trader, you're at the whims of your psychological makeup. If you're trading for the wrong reason, or you're riddled with fear about losing money, you're not going to be successful. It's very difficult for someone in their 50s or above to justify taking all the money that they worked their whole lives to accumulate, which may not be very much, and risk it in something as crazy as the currency markets, because they don't understand. And they have more of a fear of loss than they have a want for gain. Even educating and talking to folks, I because I'm older folks tend to listen to me. Younger folks don't. You're an old fuck. What do you know? But it's very difficult for me to chat with folks that are 50 and above about the currency markets, because they've had 50 or 60 years ingrained in them that doing such stuff is risky, and that they actually had to work for their money, for their livelihood. Well, you got a guy that's making a couple of $100 a day. This is pretty good money up until recently, and still for a lot of people. I mean, a couple of $100 a day is $1,000 a week, $60,000 a year. Okay, so you're still doing pretty good, $200 a day. But to get that $200 a day, you're out there working in the hot sun. You're sitting behind a desk with some asshole screaming at you to hit your numbers or hit the door. You're working somewhere where the next pandemic or a earthquake or whatever it is could put you out of a job, out of money, out of food. You need to develop, as they say, multiple streams of income, or develop a stream of income that's got more benefits to it than anything else that's out there. And if you go to my website, longwoodcurrencytrading.com, to the currency trading page, there's 7 reasons that I've written down why I think the currency markets are the optimum market to trade. And I don't think that's going to change unless everybody immediately goes to a gold standard or something and have a common currency, and then there's no currencies to trade against. So then you take your skills as a currency trader and you go trade corn or Brent crude, or I don't know, trade old tires. Trading's trading. If you're going to get involved in trading, trade the biggest thing that you can trade. You know, when I was young, in that 21-year age group, and I'm looking at stuff, and I'm working hard. I'd started a martial arts school because I had been going to graduate school in physics. I couldn't do that. I just said, I don't want to, I can't do that. And the only other skill that I had was martial arts, and so I opened a martial arts school, and was trying to make my money doing that. But my money is limited by my time, because there's only one of me teaching, and there's only so many hours a day that I can teach, and there's only so many people a day that are going to come to class, and there's only so much money that they're going to pay me on a monthly basis in order to do that. And so that's how I got involved in real estate, because I thought, well, you know, I could sell washing machines at Sears and make a 5% commission on selling a washing machine, or I can go into real estate and I can sell real estate and make 5% on a $200,000 house. Jesus, what decision is that? But you know, my personality as a martial artist just didn't mesh well with being a retail real estate broker, because all these wishy-washy people run, well, I don't like the color of the paint, or this, blah, 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 blah. No fucking clue as to what value is, as opposed to the color of the paint on the wall. Stupid, entitled people wandering around with no clue, buying the most expensive thing they're ever going to buy in their lives, real estate, and they got to see 20 houses before they decide they're gonna pick one. Jesus, it takes a shorter time to buy a pair of shoes than they were doing real estate. God, I just didn't have the patience for it. So what was the next best thing? Real estate's a big ticket item. Oh, I'll buy real estate and I'll hold on to it because I understand capital appreciation, cash flow, all that kind of crap. And that's how I retired, on my knowledge in real estate. But if I had to do all that again, knowing what I know today, and I was 21 to 34 years of age, I'd be doing currency trading. I really would. Look realistically at what you're going to be faced with when you get to 50 or 60 years of age, or if you're 50 and 60 years of age, as to job discrimination, your because of age discrimination, not job discrimination. If you got laid off, what would you do? You know, restaurant workers have a habit of saying, well, you know, I don't like you. I'm just going to go to another restaurant, because there's always room for you in the restaurant industry. It's a great job, being a server or working in kitchen staff or front house. That to me, that looks like a lot of fun. A lot of pressure, but you know, serving the community with good food, that's a lot of fun. I'm not talking about working at McDonald's or something like that. But you go into a situation like we're in, or we've been in the last 2 years, having a pandemic, and the restaurant's shut down. You're not going anywhere. You don't have a job. So the government comes along and they bails everybody out improperly, indiscriminately distributing money that, I don't know. But when that money ran out, there's no restaurant jobs, there's no tourism jobs, there's nothing. And so what happens? Nobody has any skills to do anything different. Some folks are going out and they open a car repair business, make a little bit of money, or they're picking up some side hustles that they had before as just minor stuff like mowing grass or fixing, you know, repairs, home maintenance repairs. Some people always wanted to write, so they go into become all of a sudden they change and become a technical writer or a job that still has legs on it. But for the majority of people, that's not there. And so they're working because they have to. If you're in that 21 to 34 year age group, you have such a tremendous opportunity in order to eliminate all those fears. You know, on a $10,000 account, and I'm talking good practices, $10,000 account, you can buy one full lot, trade at 10 bucks a pip, right? Now, if margin is $6,000, you could trade on $6,500 and trade one full lot. But you know, if that trade goes bad on you, you're back to margin, and now you're trading mini lots or something. So let's be reasonable about what's going on. And that's why a lot of folks don't do any consulting with me, and they don't want to buy any courses or anything, because I'm realistic about something. I'm trying to prepare you to be realistic. If somebody was coming to me and asking me about getting involved in real estate, I have to set their expectations. You're not going to buy a 20-unit apartment building in 6 months. You might be able to invest your money in a group that's buying a 20-unit, but you're not going to do it unless you're come from a very wealthy family. This is not going to happen. And so because I set people's expectations, look, all we're going to try to do is make $5 a day. But you know what? When you trade a six-figure account like I do now, that $5 or that five bucks, that 5 pips on a mini account is $500 a day. And I've been averaging more than that on the days that I trade. I don't trade every day. I don't have to. And that's why sometimes I slip off and do carry trades and stuff like that, or I just look at the chart like today. There's nothing going on. I've got a carry going on. So I don't want to do anything. I'm not going to do any trading. I'm not going to worry about it. It'll take care of itself. I don't have to. And it isn't because I'm retired and I have money and all that other sort of stuff. It's the attitude that you have to have when you trade, so that you are more open to when the time is not right to trade. The last couple of videos that I did were on doing nothing is doing something. And so you need to get yourself into that particular kind of mindset. Just because I'm buying real estate doesn't mean that 2 months has gone by and I haven't bought a piece of real estate. I got to buy a piece of real estate. No. A broker would call me up, my friend, and say, hey, Peter, you want to take a look at this? Or I'd be walking down the street and I'd see a for sale sign. I'd call my broker. Hey, what's up with that? What's that value? It may be way overpriced than what I could potentially afford, but I want to know why that's priced the way that it is, as opposed to the prices that I can afford now, to determine better the appreciability of certain types of real estate over other types, right? Trading Forex is the same thing. It's a skill. You learn and study it. And so for the guys that are and girls that are 50 and above, it's very difficult for them to be able to conceive of that. That they work their asses off making $150 a day on their salary, and they actually had to work for a living. And to be presented with the opportunity, gee, with enough money, and it isn't really all that much, I could make $150 in 2 hours doing nothing. It's beyond their comprehension. I'm 70 years old. I started looking at the currency markets in 2007, and more as I've said before, as an academic exercise. What is this stuff? How does this work? I'm writing computer simulations against it. And then finally in 2012, I thought, well, I'll give this a go. And I opened a small mini account and lost that, 2 minis. And well, maybe I just didn't know enough. I'll reload. And then I lost that. And I go, I must need more education. And I studied for 4 years and traded simulated accounts and wrote simulated application programming and studied and watched all these videos. And lost a lot of money when I funded my big account. And then I stepped back from it. Why did I lose $40,000? What happened here? I had $5,000 left in my account, and I thought, is it really that stupidly simple? Could it possibly be that simple? And so I took that $5,000, as I said before, about 4.5 months, something like that, I doubled that. Well, I was a couple of $100 under doubling, and then I added another 10 grand to my account and took it from there. Now, as I've said many times, the fact that I doubled a $5,000 account doesn't necessarily mean I can double a $100,000 account in 4.5 months, and I wouldn't try because I don't need to. Because trading $100,000 or more, in the six-figure levels, 5 or 10 pips is $800. Where when I'm trading down at 5 minis, it would take me months to make $800. Or, Please be realistic about how you view this stuff if you're 50 and above, and if you're 21 to 34. If you're 21 to 34, you've got the time to learn this stuff, to make your mistakes, to lose some money, because you are going to lose some money, but to build a foundation of information and knowledge the same way you would if you were going to study real estate or car racing or carpentry or anything else. There's no fucking free ride, bud. There really isn't. But if you want to learn how to do this stuff, you need to start now. Whether you're 21 or whether you're 61. Start now to build the foundation of your information, because at some point you'll be trading a live account and you'll be making $50 a day. And if you're at the level where you can't afford more money than to make $50 a day, then $50 a day is a lot of fucking money. If you're retired and you're making the average Social Security retirement pension of $1,300 or $1,400 a month, $50 a day is a lot of money. And it doesn't take a lot of money in order to make that. $50 a day is life-saving money. So get with the program. You think you need $100,000 a year to live? You don't. There's people, even in today's inflationary world, that are living on $25,000, $30,000 a year. Now, you might have to partner up with somebody and a roommate situation. Might be a married couple that are working to provide that kind of money together, or you get two $20,000 a year people working together combined making $40,000 or $50,000 a year. There are ways that you can make this work, but you have to look realistically at the world. What are you going to do? Go in the corner and sell drugs and make more money in 6 weeks than somebody else is going to make in their lifetime? Is that the risk that you want to take? I'm not interested in working with freeloaders. I'm not interested in working with you. Oh, what's the magic sauce? Oh, man. There's no magic sauce. It's called work. But if you learn what those rules are, like I learned the rules about real estate when I was 21, 22 years of age, it could make you not only income, replace your job income, but it can also add to your wealth for your retirement. So that when you do get retired, you can do what I'm doing today in celebrating the start of summer here in New England, and not having to have to trade, but looking forward to the next trade. Peter Rose, Longwood Currency Trading. Have a great day and have a great trading day.